Casting had begun for a Broadway adaptation of the novel, but producers were having trouble finding a suitable lady. Happening to pass the shoot on the way into a hotel, Colette saw Audrey from across the set, fooling around in a quiet moment between shoots. There's the lighting, facing Audrey sitting on the boat, holding her cocktail in a little black dress and perfect little sunglasses. There's the boat, and there's the hand here just holding on to take 10. Let's turn the page. With that, Audrey was on her way to Broadway, and there's Audrey on her way to Broadway in a big boat. Look at the size of that boat. It looks like a cruise ship. Then there's the top. And then we have all the windows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes. Look at the water. So ripple effects. From this unlikely beginning, her star rose quickly once she crossed the Atlantic. Audrey was a complete unknown when she arrived in New York for Gigi. Rehearsals for the musicals were grueling, and nobody was sure of Colette's choice of star, not least the star herself. But reviews for the previous were gushing, and by the official opening, Audrey could barely get into her dressing room for the flowers. Before the end of the show, or the week, she became the talk of the town. Audrey Hepburn. Comedy. Hit. And then we have she. Has anyone seen it? I must admit I haven't. Look at this massive theatre all across, and the sign Fulton Theatre. And there's Audrey sitting on the sign. And there we have the Broadway audiences loved her, and before long Hollywood came calling. And there's Audrey sitting on the steps, and there's the stairs just here. There's a lovely, beautiful dress. And her little says impossible. Did you know that nothing is impossible? The world itself says I'm possible. That's very clever. If you break it down and put the impossible into separate words, it spells possible. Ah, I love it. Chapter 2. The work. Okay. Within years of signing with Paramount Pictures, Audrey became one of the world's biggest stars. It was on a Roman holiday that Audrey first worked on Legacy. Legendary costume designer Edith Head. At their first meeting, the unknown actor arrived at the season designer's hotel room wearing a dark suit with white collar and cuffs. Look at that massive mirror. And her ballet shoes just hanging off the top of the mirror in a perfect little bow. Little bow, little bow. If you notice in all the pictures we have Audrey's bag, and there it is here with the handle and the little Audrey sign with the chair and the beautiful dress with the layers all the way up and hanging on a lovely gold hanger as Audrey holds it up. Edith would later tell reporters Audrey knew more about fashion than any other actress I'd ever worked with, except maybe Marilyn Dietrich. Despite her newcomer status, Audrey had strong opinions about her wardrobe for Roman Hollywood. And there she is on a scooter. With the wheels, one, and the light, and there's the gentleman at the front with his black shoes, black trousers and vest, looking rather happy, and there's Audrey holding on to him with her pink lipstick and a cute little smile. She politely refused to wear anything she didn't approve of and make significant changes to Edith's design, insisting on simpler necklines, wider belts and flatter shoes. Clothes always give me a great deal of self-confidence, says Audrey, quote, quote. Audrey loves her dresses and her shoes. she collected wearing a white floral gown by young French designer Hubert de Givenchy. There's her Oscar Gold Award. And the celebration, the streamer, and another one on this side. By the end of the year, she was on the cover of Time magazine. Wow. But grow into them she did. Her next big film was Sabrina in 1954. She continued to enchant audiences with almost universally. She charmed everyone universally. And look at this dress now. It's designed with a big bow just there, covering her face. And there we have Audrey's face and her big gorgeous hair up in a bun. Look at those perfect eyebrows there. Edith Head was once again overseeing the wardrobe for the film, but why the notable designer would be in charge of the before clothes of Audrey's character, a chauffeur's daughter turned Paris sophisticate. The studio gave Audrey leave to source the refined Parisian evening wear for the after looks herself. She spent a large chunk of her Roman holiday paycheck on a Givenchy coat. Audrey went straight to the fledgling designer studio in Paris to ask if he would custom design costume outfits for the film. Givenchy was struck by Audrey's beautiful eyes, short hair, thick eyebrows, very tiny trousers, ballerina shoes and little t-shirt. There he is looking totally struck, looking at Audrey. And look at this massive puffy dress, like a sweetheart neck. Still, Givenchy declined her proposal, telling her, "No, mademoiselle, I can't dress you." But Audrey didn't give up. She chose a series of outfits from the sample rack instead and invited Givenchy to dinner. By the end of the night, she not only had an Oscar award-winning wardrobe for Sabrina, she also had made a long-life friend. Audrey described it as the moment when fashion came into her life. Oh, she's having dinner, having an important conversation about the outfit, holding her lovely white wine filled all the way up to the top. Look at the perfectly round table and the plate. They haven't eaten dinner just yet. They must have ordered. Givenchy's clothes are the only ones I feel myself in. He is more than a designer, he is a creator of personality. When Sabrina was released, magazine Silver Screen applauded Audrey's refined look, saying she was changing Hollywood's taste. The film's French premiere was scheduled for the day after Givenchy's spring-summer couture show during Collection Week, and Audrey relished the opportunity to wear her character's couture outfit again for publicity. There's the matching bag just there. The light. And then we have one more light. And then another. The horizontal neckline fastened with a bow at each shoulder would be forever known as Sabrina's neckline. There's one bow, there's another bow, and there's her neckline. An era of stars like Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor, Audrey's love for sophisticated simplicity stood out. Her steadfast refusal to wear shoulder pads or pad her chest were revolutionary. Self-conscious of her height, her insistence on flat shoes was equally refreshing. The fashion world had also started to take notice. Designers, editors and photographers fell in love with Audrey's refined line, dancers' sense of physicality and eye for avant-garde silhouette, and soon she was a regular in Vogue and Harper Bazaar. Beautiful green earrings, back of her neck to the top of her shoulder, and her hat with green tassels all the way down. When it came time to cast Funny Face, a musical tale of a fashion editors looking for the next big trend, Audrey was the obvious choice to play, unlike model Jo Stockton. There's Audrey ready to play the part. Again, the costumes for the film were overseen by Edith Head, but this time Audrey insisted that Givenchy design all her outfits. The role was a huge deal for Audrey, and it gave her the opportunity to dance alongside Fred Astaire, a childhood hero of hers, on the street of Paris. There's Audrey. One. Dancing. television, and throughout her career the pair would collaborate often. The most important work together was a 20-page sequence called Paris Pursuit for Harper Bazaar in 1956. Audrey once said, "That's working with Avindon was like having a conversation with a good friend." Lashes, 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 long pointy nose, beautiful lips puckered up with pink lipstick, and there's her hair, eyebrows, eyes, lashes, 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 eyeliner, eyeliner. And over here we have a necklace. I never think of myself as an icon. I just do my thing. It's so good to be yourself in life, eh? There's only one you. Look at this lovely little table. Must be outside a cafe in Paris, a bistro. Giving me Paris vibes. There's a chair. The work kept coming. Audrey took seminal roles in A Nun Story, for which she received another Oscar nomination. As Natasha in King Vidor's epic adaptation of War and Peace, which would take her back to Rome for filming. All the way down. Puff. 1, 2, 3 buttons. And then let's have a look. Audrey loved spending time in the Italian capital, and the Romans adopted her as one of their own. There's Audrey in a hot air balloon. Look at the basket. She's all on her own in a basket. Audrey in Rome. But life wasn't without trials. In 1954, Audrey had married Mel Ferrer at a ceremony in Switzerland, and while the couple were constantly together, often working on the same project, they were trying unsuccessfully to start a family. Audrey suffered 2 miscarriages during this time, one shortly after falling off a horse and breaking her back while filming a 1960 western, The Unforgiven. She also had ongoing occasions succumbed to severe exhaustion due to heavy workload. Poor Audrey, she was overworked. That's not good. Not good at all. Look at the leaves at the back and the flowers. Audrey's much longed for her first child, Sean, was born in 1960 and christened in a Givenchy gown. There's the proud mother here, holding her little newborn in his christening gown. She holds on to him tightly. It's Audrey's dress. She wanted to devote herself fully to family life, but in 1961 she would shine in arguably her most memorable role. I believe every day you should have at least one exquisite moment. There's Audrey having her one exquisite moment. Arm up in the air, little dance move there, jazz hands down here, pointy toes. Oh, cute. Breakfast at Tiffany's author Truman Capote thought she was far too refined to play his eccentric cool girl and instead wanted Marilyn Monroe for the role. Eye mask gold. Eye mask. And there's Audrey in bed with the covers on top. Is that a cat or a dog? Should I say it's a cat because of the ears? I want to say cat. Happily, director Blake Edwards was set on Audrey, and she worked with Givenchy and Edith Head again to bring to life one of the most iconic characters of all time. Breakfast at Tiffany, Tiffany and Co. Her coffee, sunglasses. Tiffany on Fifth Avenue, New York. Look at all of these presents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All beautifully wrapped in a bow. He's a cat. Cute tabby ginger cat. 2 little black dresses Givenchy designed for Holly Golightly are still endlessly referenced in fashion and film today. Audrey even managed to